It's time to go bar down.
Welcome to Biloxi, Mississippi on the beautiful Gulf Coast. We are at the Beau Rivage Casino where a world title is on the line tonight. The rugged and determined IBF middleweight champion Sam Solomon out of Australia puts his championship on the line against Jermaine Taylor, who has the big name, but does he still have the big game to be a champion? Also, in our co-main event, Dirrell, a former super middleweight title challenger with only one loss on his professional record, takes on the challenger, Nick Brinson. The Lighthouse beckons you here in Biloxi for tonight's ESPN Boxing Special. Welcome into tonight's ESPN Boxing Special, which of course is brought to you by Corona Extra. We are inside the theater here at the Beau Rivage, and tonight's main event should be a good one as Sam Solomon, the IBF middleweight champion, defends against Jermaine Taylor, who's won 4 fights in a row since his well-publicized downfall. Hello there, my name is Todd Grisham. Let's talk about Jermaine Taylor for a second. He has controversy surrounding him on 2 fronts, medically and legally. We start with the medical. In 2010, he was knocked out by Arthur Abraham. He suffered brain bleeding. He suffered a concussion and short-term memory loss. Many felt he couldn't and frankly wouldn't fight again. However, here he is. He went through long testing at the Mayo Clinic in Cleveland. He was cleared medically, and then the Nevada State Boxing Commission approved his fight license by a 5-0 vote. They are one of the toughest commissions in the country. As for legally, in August, Jermaine Taylor shot his cousin in Taylor's home. He was arrested and charged with first-degree domestic battery and aggravated assault. He has, however, been allowed to fight here tonight while the legal process plays out. With that said, and keeping that in mind, we welcome in now Teddy Atlas. And Teddy, despite all that stuff, somehow Jermaine Taylor finds himself fighting for a middleweight championship.
Yeah, this is boxing, right? I mean, in boxing, sometimes everything goes. But, you know, there's an antique car show in town. And I've been watching them go up and down the street, some beautiful oldies, all day long. And it got me thinking about our main event tonight. Can these 2 old classics still get to where they need to go? And as you touched on, it's an honest question. Should Jermaine Taylor be parked in a garage somewhere? I think maybe he should be. But then again, you know what? When the car that you're racing against is a 40-year-old, guess what? I guess you gas up and you go. And then when you think about out there's a 50-year-old Etzel named Bernard Hopkins. Well, after that, well, that 40-year-old right there, he looks like a spring chicken.
Let's hear now from Jermaine Taylor. He is standing by backstage with Bernardo Osuna.
Jermaine, you had external issues leading up to this fight. Talk to me about how that has affected or not affected your training camp for this very important opportunity to be a champion once again.
Nothing will stop me from becoming champion. Nothing. I haven't even thought about nothing that's going on but this fight.
Sam Solomon, he waited almost 20 years to become a world titleist. You got your title, a unified title, within 5 years. What do you expect from the Australian?
I expect him to go in there and get beat up.
And how do you plan to do it? At this stage of your career, you've had a renaissance with Pat Burns. What makes this version of Jermaine Taylor so dangerous?
I'm a lot smarter fighter. I'm a lot more disciplined. Back with Pat Burns, I'm listening to my corner. I'm just ready to fight, man. All the way around, I'm a better fighter.
Jermaine Taylor ready to get that former world titleist out of his name and be the new world champion if he can beat Sam Solomon tonight.
So that is our main event tonight. Kick things off, though, with our co-feature. as Andre Dirrell. You remember him, a former Olympian for the United States, taking on Nick Brinson. Andre Dirrell with just one professional loss. And here is the challenger. Well, I guess there's no title, but he's got a challenge tonight. He's a massive underdog. Nick the Machine Gun Brinson, 16-2-2. He's 9-1-1 in his last 11 fights. Despite being an overwhelming underdog, Nick Brinson says, "Don't count me out tonight."
I'm a 45-1 underdog. I know for a fact I'm in this. I know for a fact, me, my confidence, my team, we know we're going to be in this. I'm not hanging. I'm not here to lose. I'm not here to collect a check, you know, and that already happened. I signed my name on the contract. The contract signed. That's a check right there. I ain't worried about that. I'm here to fight and win.
Winning is going to be a tough challenge when you're squaring off against the Matrix, Andre Dirrell. He's 31 years old, a U.S. national champion. 2004, he won the Olympic bronze medal at 165 pounds. Now, after an 18-month layoff, Dirrell is fighting for the second time in 8 weeks. In fact, this fight is right here on ESPN2, taking on Biloxi. And it was pretty much one-way traffic from the opening bell as Dirrell gets the stoppage and looked quite impressive in the process. So how did Andre grade his performance? We asked him earlier today.
What I want to get out of that fight is my timing, you know, and make sure it was on point. My sharpness, made sure I was sharp as the attack, and I believe I accomplished that, man. So I give myself a B, you know, and I'm looking for that A+, you know. But I did find what I was looking for in the fight, you know. So I'm satisfied with that. But with that being said, I know I still have much more to work on, and I'm perfecting my craft as we speak.
So you heard Brinson say it. He's a 30-1 underdog. Teddy, what can he possibly do to win this fight?
I don't know. Well, I'm going to give it a shot. It's going to be tough, but we'll start with that underdog. Body punching, straight right hands to the head. That's one way to slow him down. Well, actually, it's two. But who's counting when you're a big underdog? And for Dirrell, well, you're taller, longer, faster. Control the center of the ring with combinations.
All right, boxers, you've already received your instructions in the dressing room. I remind you to listen to me at all times. Shake hands. God bless.
First thing I say is Brinson has lost and been knocked out at a much lower level and is now stepping up to a much higher level. Not usually a recipe for success, more like a recipe for disaster. I think he goes about 4 rounds with Dirrell, but I'm interested to see where Dirrell is. I'm interested to see the fire, the talent, and he's a talented guy who's been very inactive. In other words, I want to see if he's a serious contender once again. And for me, if he is, he gets rid of Brinson in about 4. But there's been upsets before.
Dirrell told us yesterday that he wants to win this fight in round 1. Not looking to get any work in. Said he saw something on tape. Has a punch planned in round 1 for Brinson. That might have been it, but didn't want to tell us exactly what it was. But Dirrell looking to bring some pain early here at the Beau Rivage Resort Casino in Biloxi, Mississippi.
The reason why I said in the scouting report that Brinson should look for right hands, well, because there's a lefty in front of him, and Dirrell, right hands usually work against the southpaw.
Dirrell, a switch hitter, can switch stances, but right now he's fighting southpaw.
You want some good news?
I always want good news.
All right, my man. Brinson fought and beat a southpaw 2 fights ago. You want some bad news? I got to give it to you. I'm sorry. Bad news. Brinson has been knocked out 1 time in his career. Guess what?
Southpaw.
Against the southpaw. Also, maybe, for me, I look at everything. An ominous sign for Brinson. He won a split decision versus a 4-6-2 opponent. He's in with a lot better guy tonight.
One of the best in the division, Andre Dirrell, 15 knockouts and 22 professional wins. His only loss coming in a very disputed decision against Carl Froch, and that's who Dirrell says he wants next. Carl Froch, but everybody seems to want the Englishman.
Well, he's trying to get active again. If you want to do that, you better get active. You better make up for lost time, because Dirrell, he just fought 2 months ago. That's good. But before that, lots of inactivity. 1.5 years off before the last fight, then 1 year and 2 months before that, and 1 year and 9 months before that. Right now, it looks like target practice, or starting to look like target practice, where Dirrell's controlling that range, quicker hands, and just picking spots.
Well, there's some action from Brinson coming the other way.
All of it blocked. Doesn't bother Dirrell. Good eyes. He sees it coming.
You heard Brinson say, I'm not here to collect a check. I'm here to win. Make sure you log on to our Friday Night Fights Facebook page, even though it's Wednesday, and score this in every round. We'll put your voting up against Teddy Atlas's. See how the two compare. So Brinson survives round 1 despite Dirrell saying he was going for a first-round knockout. Time! Biloxi Lighthouse, and it's weathered numerous hurricanes and has become the post-Katrina symbol of the city's resolve and resilience. Hurricane Katrina hit the Mississippi Gulf Coast in 2005 with a 28-foot storm surge that spread 6 to 8 miles inland. Millions were affected, and 235 people in this area lost their lives.
Dirrell has been on the floor, and he has come off the floor to win. Brinson would love to have him experience that once again.
Dirrell gave himself a B in his last fight. Says he plans for an A performance tonight.
You know, I was talking about some of the inactivity for Dirrell. He said some of the holdup of his career was getting out of the contract he was in with the rapper 50 Cent. He said now he feels better about the team behind him.
Dirrell finding his range right now, pawing at the chin of Brinson.
You know, sometimes the best laid plans do go awry, but as far as the promoter's concerned with Dirrell, they brought Brinson here as an opponent with a nice-looking record to make the former Olympian look good. And again, at least that's what Dirrell's people and promoter have in mind.
Oh, and a left hand gets Brinson's attention against the ropes.
You know how he does it? And that's to the intellect of Dirrell. He went over with the right hook like he was going to throw a right hook, and he threw the left hand instead. Smart boxing, setting punches up. That's what I like to see. Not just talent, not just speed, not just pure ability, but matched with the intellect and the discipline.
Speed, skill, range, height. Dirrell has all the advantages in this fight.
Bigger and better. Super middleweight Dirrell, entire career with a couple fights at light heavyweight. Brinson, well, he's been 157 pounds, Todd, a few times, even 155 pounds. So Dirrell, not only faster, but bigger. Pretty good combination. Little over anxious there was Dirrell. Reached in a little bit, didn't take the little step. Now he's taking little steps. You don't want your punches to get there before your feet. Otherwise, you get out in space a little bit. And that's a dangerous place to be if you don't have a spacesuit. And if somebody's throwing punches at you.
Dirrell's grandfather, who is also his manager, said, "I pity the fool who gets in front of Andre Dirrell." Well, that's Brinson. No pity party yet as round 2 comes to a close. Welcome back inside the Beau Rivage Resort and Casino in Biloxi, Mississippi. Round 3 of a scheduled 10 between Andre the Matrix Dirrell and Nick the Machine Gun Brinson. It's been all Dirrell through the first 2 rounds, but Brinson has shown some flashes that he's here to fight. And there's a couple more right there. Nice combination.
You know, you mentioned the grandfather of Dirrell, the 2 Dirrells. Their father, well, he left and abandoned the family when Dirrell was young. He was 5 years old. He had 5 siblings. He had 5 siblings, 6 of them all together. And the grandfather raised them. And they give all the credit to the grandfather and to boxing. Another perfect example of how boxing in the right hands can turn young kids into men and get them on the proper track, even when they didn't have all the help when they were young. Of course, again, Dirrell's grandfather, a big part of his success. Matter of fact, it was so emotional to Dirrell losing, not having his father to raise him when he was young, that he mentioned that it was hard when he was a kid to go to any movies that were about fathers and sons. That it just upset him, and he couldn't watch it.
Totally understandable.
Oh, you talk about turning something bad into something good. Give credit to the Dirrell brothers.
The worst part is when a father abandons a child and then sees the success they have and tries to come back into their life 20, 30 years down the road.
Yeah, but that's when the child acts like a man and tells him what he needs to tell him. And now the Dirrells, thanks to their grandfather in boxing, they are men. And right now, Dirrell's starting to get those hands off a little bit.
Now, Brinson has Dirrell against the ropes momentarily, but those shots seem to be blocked, but at least Brinson's throwing. He knows how important this is. Imagine fighting a former Olympian, a future champion in many people's eyes on national television. You're Nick Brinson, you're going for broke.
See, the best shot to catch Brinson right is not when he's covered, but it's when he's throwing punches. Catch him in between your hands and faster. Catch him before he covers. Catch him before he gets there. Or catch him when he's leaning forward like that. Those opportunities that are, you're in the corner of Dirrell, you gotta tell him, if he doesn't see it himself, hey, when you step back, you're getting Brinson to reach every once in a while. Make him pay.
Plus.
Right here, you're gonna see something when sometimes you have too much talent, you depend on your reflexes, you pull back instead of moving your head, you can get in trouble. Dirrell blocks most of it, but again, pulled back, that is not in the Boxing 101 handbook. You're supposed to slip the punch, block the punch, he pulls back. Brinson had a moment.
And right at the bell, too, so some confidence now from Nick Brinson as we begin round 4. Brinson in the black and red trunks, Dirrell in the solid black.
See, that's what happens sometimes when you, I know this sounds silly, but when you have too much talent, when you have a lot of ability, sometimes you depend on that ability, the reflexes, the quickness too much, instead of mixing it in with your technique. And you do things, you break the rules. You're a guy like Dirrell, you say, hey, I can be quick enough to pull back from the punch. And guess what? When you break the rules, sometimes there's a price to pay.
Teddy earlier was talking about Andre and his brother Anthony. Well, Anthony Dirrell is here, the younger brother. In fact, he's the WBC super middleweight champion, beat Sako Bika. And even more impressively, Anthony Dirrell, a non-Hodgkin's lymphoma survivor. He's battled hard and fought back and is now a champion. Here cheering his brother on in Biloxi.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about another world champion, Danny Jacobs, you know, for his great victory over cancer. Danny Jacobs is a great kid, and he's from New York, and you have to applaud his character and that he was able to overcome cancer. And we're very happy. But as you said, a lot of times it gets forgotten that Anthony Dirrell did the same thing. And again, very happy for him, and it's a testament to the doctors to what's out there with the medicine, but really it's a testament to both those young men's character that they persevere and overcome a more important fight than anything they're ever going to see here in the ring.
Good point.
Right now, talking about a good point, I think it would be a good point if Dirrell would use his jab, take a little step back like that. Exactly what I was talking about, and exactly on time. And what did I say? Fourth round stoppage? What did I say?
You said fourth round stoppage, and that's what just happened. Dirrell emphatically, impressively, with a TKO stoppage.
And exactly doing the things that I thought could be done. Step back, get Brinson to bite a little bit, to reach a little bit, create a little opening, and then make them pay. Close that opening with a good power punch from the southpaw, the left hand.
Anthony Dirrell said he would give us an A performance tonight. If that wasn't an A, Teddy, it's got to be at least a B+.
You know, he started a little slow, but he got to what he needed to do from a technical standpoint to allow his superior ability, his superior talent to show itself. And he was trying to force it early a little bit. And then he stepped back. He did the things he needed to do. He stepped back there, created a little opening, got Brinson, the slower man, the shorter man, to reach, and then he capitalized.
So let's take a look at it again. It was almost as if Dirrell lured Brinson in, gave him a false sense of security, and there's the left hand that changed the face of this contest.
Yeah, it's called setting traps, and he set a nice trap there. We were calling for it. A little step back, blind him with the right jab, and then hit him with the power punch for the southpaw, the lefty, the punch that you can turn into and get your back into. There's the power punch, turns right into it, right on the button, and again, straight punches beat wide punches. Wide punch from Brinson created the end. Just let your hands go and get the referee to do that. And there's his brother Anthony enjoying every moment of it.
What's not to love if you're a part of the Dirrell clan, as Andre gets his 23rd professional victory, his 16th knockout.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 2 minutes, 12 seconds of round number 4. Our referee in charge, Keith Hughes, steps in, stops the contest. Your winner by way of technical knockout. He is known as the Matrix, Andre Dirrell.
Teddy Atlas, you said round 4. Dare I ask you what's going to happen in our main event? Have you decided on that yet?
Let you know later. I want the people to stay around. Don't want to give away everything.
All right. So a 4th round knockout for Andre Dirrell. He's in the ring right now, as you can see, with Bernardo Osuna.
Thank you, Todd. Andre, you talked about finding a perfect or secret punch for this fight. Did we just see that?
Well, technically, you did, because technically, anytime a man lunges with his punches, shoots his shots, and leans forward, you're supposed to take advantage of the counter. And that's pretty much what I did. I saw the shot, it opened up, and that's the one that landed for me. You know, but I've been working on my defense, my offense, my jab a lot. And, you know, like I said, I just want to focus on being sharp, because these are the fights that's going to line me up for that big fight. So I'm looking for the big fight still. I know it's coming. I'm going to just keep working toward my goal and get sharper as we go.
How do you feel now that you've been more active? How does your body feel, I mean, boxing-wise, because that's what it needs?
I really want to give all glory to God, because, honestly, in all truth, man, it's been a downward spiral for me for a long time, man. And to be up on this pedestal right now, to be back in the ring is so active. Second time in 8 weeks, and I'm looking for a fight in December. I feel nothing but blessed. So I'm going to give my body exactly what it needs. I'm going to take care of it, and I'm going to abuse it at the same time. It takes hard work to be the best, man, but you got to take care of your body. Your body is the temple, man. I want to take the time to thank Al Hammond, you know, my grandfather, my camp. We had a good one. Everybody down in Florida, from Lou to Wendy at Palm Beach Boxing. Y'all looked out for me when I first got down there at ABC Boxing Gym. You know, and Miami, Dino, he looked out for me. I want to give a shout-out to everybody at Coleman and Uncle JoJo and my grandma. I love you. And
Gotta save something for Grandma.
Yeah,
always,
right.
Grandma. Your brother here, the champ. Anthony Dirrell here as well. So we'll see what the future brings. He wants to fight a 3rd time this year after inactivity.
And he got a shout out for Uncle JoJo. Dirrell said he wants a big fight. Meantime, he keeps winning little fights with left hands like that. Andre Dirrell, knockout number 16. What a way to start off this ESPN boxing special.